Welcome, everyone. Today I'm live here with Vanessa Rae, who is joining the. Oops, bit of noise there in the background. Are you okay, Vanessa?
Yes.
What's happening? Um, be careful. So what we're going to be talking about today is the Voice and Song Summit. It's Vanessa's first time to join us here. It's our second summit this year. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to present at the summit this year.
Yeah, thank you. So it's an honor to present at the summit, and it wasn't a hard decision to make. I'm passionate about our voices and that everyone has a voice. And I believe that one of the issues in the world is that we're not utilizing the power of the voices we were born with and that exploration that we all get to do, no matter what we think our voice sounds like, whether we're like a singer or a non-singer, but that there's so much power in expressing ourselves. And a lot of people are really cut off from that. And so being a part of this summit and being with so many other, experts and singers and vocalists and voice teachers and healers, it just feels like the right fit. And so I'm glad to be a part of it because I think all of us are passionate about helping people utilize and access the gift that is our voices.
Well, I'm really pleased that you've decided to join us, Vanessa, because I know you've had a long journey with your own voice and you sing and you perform. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that journey that you've been on with your own
Sure.
voice?
Yeah. So it's really been lifelong. And I started as a child, as a lot of us do. We start as children and then a lot of people stop. I just didn't stop. And so voice has always been an expressive, explorative avenue for me to not just perform, but even more so process, be with myself, get to know myself through my voice. So I was in choir for over a decade. At 18, I started professionally in different bands, cover bands, jazz bands, all types of different music. I've written hundreds and hundreds of songs. A lot of them are um, like fully done and recorded, and I have a CD, but I also have a lot of songs that were just for me, for processing and healing. And it was just this beautiful place to express myself and get that freedom that I talk about a lot in the way I work with the voice, that freedom of expression through writing songs. And I did go on and get a bachelor's in music and have taught music ever since. But my path now is really joining the healing aspect with the voice aspect. And my focus is on everyone's voice, the non-singers, in expressing themselves, in getting comfortable making sounds the way that, as babies we all naturally make sounds. We scream and we yell and we coo and we sigh, and that gets choked out with our conditioning and our, act this way, be this way, look this way, this is a good singer, this is a good voice, this is a good sound, this is a good look, this is it's part of that conditioning. And I feel like one of the issues, one of the problems, or let me say it this way, a lot of our problems come from having that natural primal gift of expression being choked out, being silenced. And, think of when we lift something really heavy, or when we hurt ourselves, or when we're in labor, or when you get good news or bad news, there's this like, oh, or ah, or ah, and all these things that we get this little moment because in that time we're not hindering ourselves. We get this little moment of freedom in our voice. And then it goes back to being like clamped down. And what else is being silenced or choked out in our life if we're not actually allowing ourselves to make these primal sounds, the sounds before the intellect, before the processing, before the how do I want to word this? What do I want to say? Just that freedom of releasing our voice, releasing our self-expression, and what's available to each of us when we're more free, when we're liberated to express ourselves in that way.
Mm.
That's really where my work is going now, as far as is that, healing and therapeutic voice work. And musically, I'm much more interested lately in improvising, in I wouldn't say it's not a direct channeling, but more of letting my expression be in the moment, natural singing with I use different effects pedals and a looper pedal, and making these soundscapes in the moment, based really on that freedom I feel in my voice in the moment to make pieces of music.
Wow. That sounds so interesting. And the thing about voice is, as some of the other speakers are talking about, is that our voice doesn't lie. You know what I mean? It's like that you saying, when we're in a moment of joy or in a moment of pain, our voice doesn't lie. Our voice says that, but we control that a lot of the time. So what you're saying is, let's get more used to using our voice naturally. Let's allow more of it out, because there's a benefit to that. What do you think is the real benefit to being able to hear yourself in that way and allow that out?
Yeah, I love that you said that. It's like a truth speaker. And there's so many benefits, but some of them are like the work that I'm doing and what I'm going through personally in my life is really processing loss through accessing your voice. And when I say loss, I mean it can be loss of a job, loss of a partner, loss of your youth, loss of your confidence. I mean, we have these losses. We also have all these gains, but we have big losses, little losses, losses that we know about, like if it's a big, trauma in the forefront, or just, a loss of my freedom, a loss of my parents, a loss of maybe your parents are still here, but the relationship is changed and it saddens you. I mean, I have a beautiful daughter that most people hear about all the time because she's the light of my life. And she's 12, and thankfully I haven't lost her on this physical plane, but because she's 12, there's a loss of her younger years. There's a loss of, I don't have a toddler anymore. I don't have, and there's something to feel there. And instead of, and I talk therapy is great, and all of there's reasons for all these different modalities. But one thing that we can get from the voice that goes back to what you said about that just authentic truth is like, how do I express all these varying losses in a way where I don't need to get up in my head and get all confused and analyze and this and that? What about just sounding it? What about just releasing it with sighs, or singing about it, or hearing a song that I love that is like, oh, that resonates with me, and it captures the feeling that I feel with these various losses or this specific loss, and I just want to sing it out, or I just want
Beautiful.
to make sounds. And so, to answer that question is freedom, liberation, processing of things that sometimes our head can't make sense of it all, but our sounds go right to it.
Beautiful. And it,
You know?
we have to wrap up in about a minute. So
Sure,
tell
sure.
us a little bit about the presentation you're giving for the summit. I know it's around this topic, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's about accessing that freedom. And for a lot of people, I think we sometimes feel like we need permission to use our own voice, which we don't. You have permission, you already have a voice. Um, but to help people who have lost that ability to access sounding,
Mhm.
like what do I do? Is this sound okay? How do I process this loss or this feeling or connect that to singing or sound? And so I'm going to talk about how to do that. And we're going to do that, in
Yay.
that talk. So, yeah.
That's going to be amazing. I'm excited that you're making it so practical as well. So
Yeah.
everybody sign up for the summit as soon as you can. It's free to join us live, and then we have a VIP option if you'd like to get the recording. So
It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. And I've been a part of a few different summits, but this is the first one that I am going to be there from start to finish because I I love being around and hearing and learning from all of the speakers, including you, Aideen. It's really something that I think the world needs, and so many people are curious about their voice, and this is the place to be.
absolutely. Well, I'm just on a mission to get people using their voices because it's just so magic. It's the ultimate tool for empowerment and healing and well-being and health
And
and
changing the world,
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, Vanessa. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to having you at the summit on the 1st of April.
I can't wait. Thank you, Aideen.